swear sometimes my mind drifts. Gotta be supernatural, you make it from down here. Hey, I lost the closest thing to my heart and almost drowned in tears. But granted, lives I'm still standing. I would never hide in fear. I stand bold on these 10 toes. Said I was gonna do it and I did it. Niggas talk but them never move by their opinions. I make music for those that love the culture. Women that's in tune with they culture. And all the go-getters that made it over. I do this for the forgotten city of Macon, Georgia. They wrote us off as Otis Redding, but the wait is over.
What is going on out there, everyone? It's your boy Mike Ryder, Mr. Accountability, the man behind the microphone. You are tuned in to another episode of Mike Ryder Talks. I got a special show on here tonight for you guys. If you're tuning in, hit the likes, give me some hearts if you're on Facebook, love it. Hit the comments, I will acknowledge you. I will pull your comment up on the screen. You know how we do around here, very interactive. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the comments. Same thing go for y'all. I'll pull y'all up on the screen. I'm going to have my guest on in a few minutes. Whatever questions y'all may have for her, ask her. Facebook, they go for y'all too. Let's get into it though. Before I introduce the guest, fellas, ladies, Valentine's Day is coming. It's about a month away. I got a Valentine's Day raffle I'm about to do. More details will come, but I'm going to go ahead and give y'all some small details. The basket is going to be worth $60. I got a basket with 2 candles, 2 12-ounce candles, some chocolates, some wax melts, some wine glasses to set the mood for Valentine's Day for yourself, for your date, whoever you got in mind. You know what I'm saying? If you want to give it away as a gift, that's fine. If you want to use it for your date night on Valentine, that's fine. But the basket is going to be worth $60. The raffle tickets are going to be $10. So for $10, you'll get a chance to win a $60 gift. That don't sound bad. You know what I'm saying? That sound good to me. Yes, sir. Nephew. Yes, sir. I'm trying to have them right on Valentine's Day. Listen, you're going to get a bottle of wine. Let me get right. $60 basket. 2 candles. Wax melts. Bottle of wine. 2 wine glasses. Chocolates. I did say raffle. Yes, ma'am, I did say raffle. You know what I'm saying? Details are going to be coming. I'm going to get some pictures, some videos, some promo stuff of the basket. I'm still building it. Once I build a basket, which it should be like in the next few days, by the end of the week, we got 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure I get it out there to you before Valentine's Day. We're going to do a random drawing probably on the Tuesday show before Valentine's Day or the Thursday show before. See, now you talking. He said that wax melt, I need that for my little breezes. See, we ain't gonna get into all that. Hey, brother, if you a man, you a woman, you want to get it for your spouse, you want to get it for yourself. I appreciate you for saying you'll help me build it. I already got it. I got that covered. All you got to do is enter the raffle, baby. You can enter the raffle as many times as you want. And matter of fact, if I get enough entries, I'll do multiple baskets. How about that? So you will have multiple chances of winning. And I'm not going to shortchange anybody. I'm going to get you right. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, $10 entry. You can enter as many times as you want. Man, let's get to the show. All right. Yes, it'll be to the cash out. Sorry about that, y'all. I'll read her comment. Yes, it'll be to the cash out. If you want to enter now, you can. Just enter. Listen, cash out. Mike Ryder. $ Mike Ryder. You know what I'm saying? You'll see it on the screen here shortly. If you want to go on and enter now, $10, When you cash app it, make sure you put for raffle or for Valentine's basket in the description. Screenshot it, inbox it to me. You know what I'm saying? Text it to me, whatever you need to do. Let's get to this guest though. I got a special guest on here tonight. I got someone who is a personal trainer, a health and fitness coach. She does Zumba. She's an RN. She's from around here in the Macon area. You know what I'm saying? This lady is helping people. This lady is changing lives. She is the owner of Healthy Living 360. And without further ado, Latrisha Jones, how are you doing tonight, ma'am?
Hey, Mike, I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed. I cannot complain. I had a great day. What about you?
Yeah, I've been kind of laid back, a little frustrated with the internet being choppy, but hey, you just go with the flow and do what you can with what you have. So, not complaining, not complaining.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Um, since we'll get into it, it's your first time on the show. Introduce yourself to the guests. Tell them, give them a small description of you.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Mike, for having me on. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Before I get started, I have to put out a disclaimer, if you don't mind, because we're about to share health and fitness information. So let me please do this real quick. The information that I'm about to share with you, or the questions that I may ask, is not meant to replace your healthcare providers, any prescriptions from your healthcare provider. It's not meant for medical advice or any medical prescriptions from myself. It is merely for educational purposes only. And remember, before you change any of your health and fitness plans or dive into any new fitness or dietary choices, make sure you consult with your healthcare provider, especially if you are up under doctor's orders. So just had to put that out there. Thank you so much.
No, hey, look, let's get into that.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Your mic had cut out, but go ahead. Say what you were saying.
Okay, so I was saying, of course, I'm Latrisha Jones. Most people just say Trisha or Trish. I'm a nurse, like you say. I've been nursing for 12 or 13 years. I don't know, lost count, but somewhere up in there. I've been in business for 5 years now. I am a veteran. I served 6 years in the military before I had to make that choice to take an honorable discharge for, my mother's care. But I am here in town, and what I do is work with professional individuals who are serious about making those changes to their life with high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. And there are several ways. There's nothing is all the same, is what I'm trying to say when you're talking about the journey to health. So I help individuals make those choices to lead them on the path that they need in order to still reach their health goals.
Let's start from the beginning. Where were you born and raised?
Danville, Georgia, straight out the country.
Danville? Man, that's country, country.
Yes, it is. I come from a one-way road.
I used to deliver down to Danville. If I'm not mistaken, there are no traffic lights. There might be like one caution light and some stop signs.
Yep, you're right.
Okay, so life in Danville. Give the audience, the listeners, the viewers, an idea how it is living in Danville, growing up in Danville, Georgia.
Okay, so well, as we know, it's the country, so we don't have a lot of big stores or anything like that, and you always had to either go to the next big city to do your shopping. When we grew up, it was more so outdoors playing. We couldn't sit up in adults' face all the time, so I grew up outside playing. Um, I didn't have a phone until I was I want to say 16, but it might have was 17 or 18. And I had to purchase my own phone. So everyone else, these kids now have privilege, but we didn't have all of that luxury. It was you get up, you clean up whatever you do. If you was in school, then you do all of that. But when you came home, we didn't sit in the house. It was outdoors. And we played, and our play was makeup play. So whatever we decided to make up games or whatever, then that was your play. We didn't have all the special things, special toys and things like that. It was whatever we chose to do. I grew up with some great people. Country, you know how it is in the country. We have chickens running around in the street, so don't hit our chickens if you come through. I grew up seeing animals like cows and things like that because of the farming that some of the people have in the area. But I mean, I love the country. It's quiet, it's close knit. Everybody knows everybody. And that makes you feel better, when things happen in life, when you can reach out to people. So, I mean, I'm a country girl and I love it.
Look, I'm gonna give the people a little idea about where that is. If you're traveling on I-16 from Macon, it's about halfway between Macon and Dublin. And if you think about I-16, it's mostly trees, woods, deer. You'll see some cows over there on the right. That's where she from. You know what I'm saying? Trish, I want to ask you this. We're gonna get into it. When did you come to Macon and what brought you here?
Okay, so I moved to Macon 2006. And what brought me here is my real estate agent. So I was okay. Let me back that up. I didn't want to go to Warner Robins at that time because of what I saw. Back then at that now, I've been up here 14 years. I've been a homeowner for 14 years. So what I saw back then was too in the homes area, in the living areas, it was too close. The houses was too close, and I didn't like that. I just wanted my space. I wanted a big yard because I knew I had friends and stuff, and I like cookouts and things like that. And I don't want to be you got to be quiet because you're right there in someone's bedroom type stuff. So I veered to start looking and making, and this area, what I'm in right now, I like the home because my home is in a cul-de-sac area. So I have a very big yard, and no one is just like right up on me. So that's how I end up here. And I've been up here for 14 years now.
Before I get to the next question, Jerome, I didn't forget about you. Jerome said, "Hey, Latrisha Jones." Um, Melanie said, "It's my sister." And I want to say this is in regards to you talking about Danville. She said, "We on the map."
Hey, Mel, we on the map, baby.
Let me ask you this. As far as Macon and Danville, tell me some of the differences that you've noticed, living. Of course, we have the city size, the population. One of them is more country, one is more city, but which one do you prefer? And what differences have you noticed?
Um, well, I'm close to everything. Like, I don't have to drive 30 minutes to the grocery store or to shop or just for entertainment if I just want to squeeze out for a minute and have some fun and come back home. I enjoyed that about the city. Just more options, more when I first came, you got more job opportunities, and I was closer to people where I'm a person that like to connect with people all the time, so I'm a people's person. So it gave me an opportunity to connect with people more because I had more places to get out to, and, a lot of business owners around here. So, it gave me a chance to not have to go so far and ride from city to city to connect because there's a lot of people that is in one area. And of course, we didn't have that in the country. We don't have any businesses like that in the country. And I just wanted to meet some new people. So I like my space that I have. I like my privacy. What else? But as far as the country though, it's quiet. You can do more things in the country than you can do in the city without getting in trouble, those type of things.
Mhm.
You know, and when I go to the country, it just reminds me of reality, meaning taking it back. Just in case all the luxury that we have in life now is taken away, it's like, would you survive? Like, do you know how to survive? Like farming, just seeing those things like that. So it brings me back to reality and how I grew up when I go home. So I guess that's the big difference to me.
Okay, so Trisha Jones, country girl, moved to the big city, got in the military. You're an RN, you're a business owner. Matter of fact, speaking of business, let's get to the meat and potatoes of your business. What is the name of your business, ma'am?
Healthy Living 360.
And you've been in business for 5 years, correct?
Yes.
Um, let's get into the details of it. What all does Healthy Living 360 cover?
Okay, so Healthy Living 360 came about because first, you guys know, like we just said, I'm a nurse, so I worked it in the medical field. I was full time in the hospital settings, first of all, and I guess I should give you my. Can I go back and just give a little history on why I'm here in business? Can
You're
I go ahead and
fine.
go there? Okay, so 2012, I started out as an LPN first in 2008. 2012, I became an RN, and that's when I entered the hospital settings. So in the hospital settings, I noticed that I something didn't sit well with me as far as what I thought I was getting into or going to do versus the rules and regulations and things like that. So I felt like at that time I started feeling like I wasn't fulfilling something deep within me. But I know that when you're on someone else's job and you go by their rules, then there's certain things I can't say and I can't do. And I felt like I wasn't helping people heal. And that's what I wanted to do because as a young girl, I grew up having to help my mom. My mom have seizures, but it's not from chemical imbalance. It's from injury, from a blow to the head way back whenever. So I grew up having to go to the doctor's appointment with my mom and everything, and she used to take probably 15 to 20 pills a day. And as a child, I knew something wasn't right, but I also didn't have any type of authority. I didn't know about researching and things like that. So I wanted to make that right. And when I got grown, immediately when I turned 18, I took over everything and started finding answers for herself. So that led me to want to help people heal and not just take medicine that, for one, is probably not doing anything for you. You don't need it, or it's just covering up symptoms. So, that led me to the medical field. But when I got there, it was like the same thing. And I love what I do. I just didn't love the environment that I worked in and the rules that I had to work under. It was so stressful, and then it started taking a toll on me. And I'm that type of person, if I'm not happy somewhere or with something, then I have to change like real fast before I, revert back. And I know I'm where I'm supposed to be as far as healthcare because I love caring for people. So I became passionate with blood pressure, like heart disease, but high blood pressure is like um the number one in that category where most people start at with the blood pressure issues, diabetes and obesity, because that's the majority of what we saw. Even though people had other issues, it was like, why is this like this? And we were teaching them and telling them things that was only enough to hold you until you had to come back. And it just didn't sit well with me. So I started doing research. I had to stay within that facility for 1 year before I could do contract nursing, because you have to have 1 year experience under your belt. So I stuck it out and I stayed there. But then I started doing my own thing where I can manage my own schedule and not have to be stuck in certain environments. So I started migrating around to different hospitals, different facilities, private care. And one thing I have to say, it doesn't matter where you go. When you're up under the certain rules, it's all the same. If it's not about a dollar, then it's not really talked about. And I knew that there were other things that I can teach people to simply take control of your life, because that's my ultimate end goal in my business. If I can work with people, teach them, educate them on the things like fill the gaps, migrate it together so you can understand and then take charge of your own life. Because if you don't know, there's no way you're going to be able to take control. So that is my ultimate goal, and that is, I'm so passionate about that, like the no, the why. Like
Mm.
it just drives me.
And see, the thing about that, I'm a black man, you're a black woman. I want to say everyone in the audience is black. Y'all know somebody or yourselves that suffer from high blood pressure. suffer from diabetes, suffer from obesity, stress. Look at the things that are on her logo. Like I said, health coaching and nutrition, physical fitness, yoga, myself. I take high blood pressure meds. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to take those things forever. I want to find a way to get off of those things where my blood pressure isn't as high as it was. Um, like I've been telling y'all, I done lost a lot of weight this last year. My blood pressure ain't that high. I was at risk for diabetes. That's a no more. You know what I'm saying? That's gone. Um, she works with stuff like that. So if you or anyone else are trying to better their health, she's somebody you need to contact. Like I told y'all before, if y'all been reading my post and everything, it's health month over here. You know what I'm saying? It's the beginning of the year. All the guests that I'm having on for January, they reflect healthier living with New Year resolutions. You know, most people usually have health as their main resolution somewhere in it, whether they're trying to lose weight, maintain their weight, um, do better with their spiritual health, mental health. We're covering all of that this month. We got a lot more to go, but tonight with Trisha Jones, we're gonna get into this. So back to Healthy Living 360. You said you've been doing this thing for 5 years, correct?
Yes, I just hit my 5-year mark in November of 2020.
Of course, of course. I saw you. I saw you celebrating online. What did you do to bring it in?
So it was a last minute thing. I didn't know if I wanted to do something and the planning and all of that, but I decided like just do it, celebrate something small. So I had to contact the owners, of course, of Overtime because it was the last minute, but I know them. But I was like, we may not be able to get tables. I may not be able to do it, and I chose there because it's kind of like it's just centralized and you can have fun. You have something to eat. You can get food there for people that drink if you want to have drinks, and you got music, you got fun. So we didn't have to like move around to different places. It's just everything can happen in one spot, and everyone will have somewhere to sit and just mingle, have some fun, celebrate life, and go home safely. So I chose to just take it to Overtime, and it was very last minute.
Let me ask you this because I kind of got off a topic. Um, Trish, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 38 years young.
38 years old, and she coming out like this. Come on, brother. You know what I'm saying? This lady is working on her physique. You know what I'm saying? It's constant work, correct?
Very, yes.
Stuff like this doesn't happen overnight. And like I said, Healthy Living 360, Latrisha Jones can help you get there. Now, this isn't an ad program, so I'm gonna stop repeating myself. Like I said, we're gonna get straight into the business. Um, the people that you target with high blood pressure, with type 2 diabetes, how do you work with them? What kind of plans do you work with them with?
Okay, so as far as fitness, like physical activity, a lot of times that's just per individual and what they want to do to not get bored with doing one activity. And let me explain what I mean. Okay, so for instance, Zumba or the Strong by Zumba program, um, or whether it's strength training like group fitness, people sometimes have booked in just to come and take classes, just to do something different. But I have structured out and scheduled programs like a 6 week strong program or 6 week this. That is meant to help people stay committed. Because if people pay for something, they tend to commit to it. And one of the biggest things that I hear from people while they're not reaching their goals is consistency. They're not able to stay remain consistent for whatever reasons that comes up. So this is just to help people like short term get going, get into that motivation, start seeing little results, feeling better. Now they want to stick and stay and move to the next level. Now that can be health coaching program that I'm just starting with yoga, and that is something that's totally not for here right now, but I'm just last year I went into doing that. But that can be anywhere from training, like needing one-on-one, like that direct training, that can be health coaching, that can be on nutrition. I have consultations with people, and according to what they want, their goals lets us decide if we're a good fit for, number one, to work together, and also to help them make those choices according to their goals, because everyone wants to be healthy, but that looks and mean different things to different people. So you can't just have a one size fit all for people. So you have to make sure that you're knowing what they want. So when I go in to structure things out for them, I am structuring things according to this individual, especially when they're working with me privately. Um, I'm structuring things that's for this individual and what they need.
Hey, that's fire if you ask me. That's fire if you ask me. You've been in business for 5 years. Have you seen like your clientele rise in those 5 years?
Yes, I have met a lot of wonderful people, and I have to say, the majority probably has been through fitness. And I started out doing Zumba. Let me just say that Zumba was the very first venture into business that I started doing. The reason why I chose to do that is because I understand change. Change is difficult. You know, you have to change here first. You got to know why you want to do something. You have to be serious about it. So you can't start out with something that's, I'm gonna say boring, but it's not boring because it's your health. But please understand what I'm saying. If it's not motivating and fun, people probably not want to come back. So I started with Zumba because it's fun, dance, fitness. You don't even think about working out, and you're just having fun, laughing half of the time because of we're trying to get these moves together, and we're just vibing, and just the music is blasting, everyone is sweating, and before you know it, an hour has went by, and all thing we did was felt like we was at a party and had fun. So I started out with Zumba first to draw people in, to get them interested. Once I got them inside, of course, then people start talking. They start talking about other things like, I need to do this. How can you help me do this? How do I do this? Like nutrition. What do I eat here? How do I do this? Like the questions start coming. So that led me then to talk to those people more and more. I created programs around what people want. That doesn't mean things are always going to go good, but it doesn't matter. You always listen to your customers and you give them what they want, not what you think they want to need. Because I have had to learn that along the way. I can think that my people want this because I know, but that may not be what they want right now, so they won't stick to it. So I have, it's been a journey and I've learned a lot, trials and errors along the way, but that's what it's all about. You just keep going.
Listen, I'm gonna get to my man in the comments. Easy saying staying consistent. He's on YouTube. Staying consistent. I can relate to that. Then he followed up. He said typo, not staying consistent. So, like you said, consistency is the key. But also on the flip side, consistency is one of the main problems and issues when it comes to people losing weight or maintaining weight or just living a healthier lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna ask you this. You got into the Zumba. Well, let me say this first before I ask. Anybody thinking Zumba is for ladies, Zumba is weak, and Zumba is sorry. Listen, I did Zumba when I was about 24, 25. That thing whooped up on old Mike. Old Mike was in the house sweating, looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But that Zumba is intense and it's great to mix it up. Most people, especially people, they teach us this kind of like in high school when you're doing sports. When you work out, the main thing that comes to mind is lifting weights. That's the main thing that people think of, lifting weights. Man, you got to mix that thing up. Lift weights, do some cardio, treadmill, elliptical, hit the track. Shout out to D-Sto too. He's a local photographer. He done been on the show. That man be on the track almost every day. He done lost a lot of weight. Shout out to you, bro. Um, hit the Zumba, hit the yoga. You mentioned yoga. What style of yoga are you practicing? Do you know?
Yes. So right now I will be going into more so restorative yoga. And restorative yoga is great for calming down, reducing anxiety, taking care of the parasympathetic nervous system. we need to do that because we live in a world where it's go, 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 go from the time we get up to the time we go to bed, and we never bring it down. And it is so important that we tune back into ourselves for number one to reduce stress levels, because stress is very too much stress is detrimental to our health. And I know people don't think of it that way, but it is. When they say stress is a silent killer, it is. But restorative yoga has helped me calm down because I love doing yoga. Back then, when I was just a student, I never wanted to. For number one, the time didn't have time to do it, but for number two, I didn't. I don't. I it was hard for me to slow my brain down because I'm more so crunk, like I'm more high energy, and my clients would always say, Trisha, why don't you go and be our yoga instructor? Because we had some difficult times at one point trying to get someone to be there and to do this and be consistent. And I was like, I told them, no, y'all, I just want to be the student. I want to bring different faces in so they didn't just see me all the time. And I wanted to be the student sometimes. So, but now I see why they were saying that. I should have been done that. So I thank them for pushing me. But I needed that last year. With everything going on, a lot of issues, a lot of personal issues and things like that. So I went ahead and veered towards that. And that has really helped me complete my circle. Not that I'm done with whatever I'm doing in business, but that was really big for me as to what I'm missing, so to speak, for self, but also now I can offer that to my clients as a whole.
Yeah, because it's important that everything that we learn, we teach back to our people. And we also need to stay current and keep ourselves, what is it, multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? People need to see things not just one way. So if we're thinking about working out, like I said, it ain't just one way to work out. You're doing great because you're teaching people yoga, you're teaching people Zumba, you're teaching people, weightlifting, you know what I'm saying? Um, bettering their diet. I'm gonna get to these comments real quick. My man Larry, he says, keeping pushing. I want to say that went with the consistency thing. That's the main thing. You gotta keep it pushing. Chat, she said that might be good to do before bed. I want to say she's talking about the yoga, the style of yoga that you're doing. That does work good before bed because even like you said, your mind is always moving. My mind is constantly rotating. I think all day, every day. I'm always thinking. I'm always in my mind. So that type of stuff will help. Anybody who's listening to this or watching it, your mind is constantly moving. You might want to look into that yoga. You might want to look into that yoga, man. That will help you. It helps with your breathing. It helps with you calming down. It helps you to become more with one. You know what I'm saying? Um, as far as like diets, Trish, what are some tips that you can give people to help with their diets to get them, you know what I'm saying, to a healthier living?
Okay, so when we start talking about our diet, I always tell my clients and people that I'm talking to in general when they ask about a diet, what to eat. That's the oh man, that's the $1 million question, what to eat. And it's like that's not a answer to that question, so to speak, because if I tell you right now, eat this, you may eat that tomorrow, the next day. You're going to get tired of that. And you're going to want to know what else can I eat to still remain healthy, to still continue my journey. So I don't like diets. Like I don't like to look at things as diet or just eat this. What I like to do is I teach my clients nutrition, what it mean, the healthy, the not so healthy, so they can have the knowledge to make choices according to what they like, foods they like, maybe the foods they may be allergic to, especially if you have kids and things like that. If they're fixing food for the family or whatever, then you want to have a variety. But if you got the knowledge on what foods do, the healthy, the not so healthy, then you can make informed decisions for yourself, which goes back to taking your life into your own hand. Because if you start paying someone to fix you a nutrition plan, that nutrition plan is going to wear out, and you're going to always have to go back and pay for this over and over. So I'm always telling people, just invest and do it right one time in your life. Pay attention, do it right. It's your health, and there's no price on that. Not for me. There's no price on my health. So just learn what you need to learn, and now you have it. And if life throws that curveball at you 6 months down the road or next year, it's okay. We all get thrown off, but you have learned it once, so it's going to be so much easier for you to know what to do to get back on track. So most of us know where to start. I think we're just looking for another way out. And let me explain that. We know what we eat that is not so good. That's your number one where to start at. Start getting rid of those things, removing them out your home, out your diet plan, your nutrition plan. That's the perfect place to start. Self-evaluation, and start removing those things that you know is not good for your health. And then the things that you know that you probably should be doing, like drinking more water, is very important. Start doing those things. That will make a big difference if you just start swapping it out. And you have to start with what you put in your home, because if it's in that kitchen, it's so easy to go in there and get it. So I just believe in clearing the pantry. When you say you're ready to be healthy, you have your mind ready to just clear it out and start over.
Nephew, if you're still watching, you said you want to get with her. She just gave you the key. Whenever you ready, if you say you ready, get with her. And it's time to make some changes. I'm going to get to another comment. And as you guys can see this, if you're new to the platform, I'm very interactive. I'll put your comment on the screen. If you have questions, ask her. You don't have to call her to ask her. You have her right here, right now. Put the comment on the screen. We will put those questions out there. She will answer them. If you have a statement that you want to make, is in regards to your health journey, put it out there. Like my man Easy, he said, I'm obese, and he does what I do. He does roadside assistance. He does tires. He says, I'm obese. Doing these tires is, I think, what's keeping me from gaining more weight than I already have. But I got to take the time to actually work out. And see, like myself, he works 24 hours. He's on call. So that hurts him because he doesn't have a set schedule to set aside. Okay, I'm going to go be active at this time. When he does have downtime, he might be trying to play catch up on laundry, dishes, grocery shopping, spending time with his family. But we have to make time for those things. My man, Larry, he says, as a chef, I'm with that. Yeah. Clear that pantry, my man. You know what I'm saying? Melanie, she giving you more praise. She said, I'm so proud of you, Latrisha. She said, school them, boo. Let's get into this. You know what? My man got a question. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Ask your questions, and we're going to get to the nitty gritty. What are your thoughts on fasting?
I love fasting. I do intermittent fasting almost every day. I really do. And I'm glad you asked that, because this is part of my coaching program on what I teach. Not in the beginning, because there's some things that needs to be learned and understood before you just move into that. But fasting is great. It is a great way to change. Okay, let's say if you are borderline diabetic, or you've already been diagnosed with and then we're talking about type 2 diabetes here. Well, you can reverse type 2 diabetes. Okay, don't let no one tell you can't. You can, but I encourage people to start as soon as you can. Don't keep waiting, taking medicine to just cover it up and keep going, because your organs, your muscles, they're not going to get better just because you covered that symptom temporarily. It's still going to get worse. So you have to do something to get to the root cause of it and change it totally. So you can reverse type 2 diabetes, you guys. So please, you can keep that in mind. Trisha said you can reverse type 2 diabetes. Where am I going with this? Fasting. So fasting is a great way to tap into fat storage, to start burning fat, and also your body will change how it utilizes insulin. So I love fasting. When I have put on some pounds myself, I go into fasting real hard and real fast. So it is great. Fasting is great.
Myself, I intermittent fast every day. I don't eat until 12 every day. I don't eat until 12, and I honestly don't eat after like 8. The only reason I will eat after 8 if I'm doing a show and I didn't eat before. Because like I said, I'm on call, so I might be out working all day, ripping and running. So like tonight, I didn't get to eat this evening. I'm gonna eat after we get out this interview, but it's not gonna be anything heavy. It's gonna be a light snack. It's gonna be a healthy snack, matter of fact. Um, but fasting is good for you. Something I'm gonna share with y'all that I have not shared with anyone. Probably only one person knows this. To bring in the new year, I had started fasting. Like I started doing 32-hour fast, where like I would clean my systems on like a Sunday. I would detox on like a Sunday. Come Monday, I wouldn't eat anything. I wouldn't eat again until 12 o'clock Tuesday. So after 8 o'clock Sunday, I would not eat again until 12 o'clock Tuesday. And it was helping. And it was hard too, because I'm up here trying to keep myself busy because me personally, I'm a bored eater. I will eat when I get bored, like most people. So I would try to keep myself busy, keep my mind occupied. When I tell you I felt good, and it felt good to be able to pick out that Tuesday too. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel guilty. I wasn't beating myself up. It felt good. Them hot wings were hitting the spot. Trisha, I do want to get into this. Hold on, let me see what. Oh, he said thanks. Easy said thanks for your thoughts on fasting. I didn't forget. You deal with holistic health too, correct?
I mean, that's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate plan with my business, regardless of where I'm teaching or training someone from. It's all about holistic healing.
Mm. Let me get to my man real quick. He says not eating just as bad for the body.
Yes.
If you starve yourselves, you are hurting your body.
Can I elaborate on that? I wanted to say something to. I just see Easy on his thing. I don't know his name, but the guy who was talking about the tires at work. One thing that you can do, and this goes for anyone that needs the tips. One thing you have to do, especially with a schedule like that, you have to know that this is my lifestyle. This is what I do. This is how I got to move about. You have to schedule things around your lifestyle. You can still do it. You can still work out. Now, you may not be able to have a full uninterrupted 1 hour. You may look up one day, you may not. But what I'm saying is just think it through. If you know that you can get caught anytime, break your workouts up. Like, let's say 10-minute sessions every 2 or 3 times a day or whatever. At the end of the day, you have done 30-minute workout. And you can, of course, increase it or whatever, but I'm just using this as an example. If you just break it up and you say, I'm going to do this in the morning when I get that break, then I'm going to do this, and do HIIT style trainings. Don't just, you can, but this is just an example. When you do HIIT style trainings, choose your like 2 to 3 exercises, especially when you're short on time, and set your timer. Use your watch or something and do like 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, or 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Whatever works for you, depend on your health, and always listen to your body. But just go in and you go hard for those, let's say 20 to 10. You go hard for 20 seconds, whatever you're doing, and you allow your body to rest for 10, and you go back in. You choose how many rounds of that you want to do. And I promise you, your body will respond. That is just as good as going in the gym for 2 hours, because I really never understood why people be in the gym that long. I really don't know why. So that's just a tip. I wanted to respond to him on that.
And you know what? I'm going to add to that. About the people being in the gym for that long, me and one of my friends were talking the other day. You see people in the gym for like 2-3 hours. Unless you work at the gym, You don't have to be in the gym that long.
Talking.
They be in the gym talking. Hey, you don't have to be in the gym that long if you don't work at the gym. If you're not somebody who's a trainer, if you're not somebody like an attendant who's behind the desk, you don't have to be in there that long. So working out, man, keep it simple. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. That's it. Because you want to give your body time to heal. You want to give your muscles and your bones time to relax, time to recoup. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be out there jogging and your knees start hurting, your shin start hurting, your bones start popping out your skin. You know what I'm saying? That can happen. You don't want to bust anything. You don't want to pull anything. And overworking yourself while working out can cause those things to happen. You know what I'm saying? Um, what exactly is holistic health, Trish?
I'm sorry, ask that question again. I was talking. I didn't know my mic was muted.
I only mute you because we got a little feedback. I'm just trying to eliminate the feedback. But what exactly is holistic health?
Holistic, well, we know what health means, but so when you add holistic in there, that's simply meaning taking care of the body as a whole, mind, body, and spirit, and also choosing things that are close to its natural form as possible. We're talking about nutrition. So things that Mother Earth has already given us in its natural form, as close to that as we possibly can. The less ingredients, the better.
Hey, that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Um, I want to get into some of the things that you do with your clients as far as like prices. Do you want to go over that? That can be a yes or a no.
I mean, there's when you say go over it, I mean there's nothing right now to talk about as far as that, like set prices. What I can say is that when someone is trying to, okay, when they just want to say book a Zumba or whatever, that's their classes probably between like $8-10. If we're talking about just one-on booking. When I choose to run a program like a 6-week challenge or something like that, then that'll be a set price depending on everything that's included. When I am working with someone on the high end programs like health coaching, just privately or in my coaching programs, those are consultations that I have with individuals for a couple of reasons. Number one, like I said earlier when we was talking, we need to make sure that we are a good fit because I don't work with everyone. I work with people that is really serious about making that change in their health. We have to make sure that that they're going to be able to stick to it, meaning financially that you can. Sometimes we have a problem with giving up certain things. We say we can afford something, but it's just you just don't want to give up whatever for 3-6 months or whatever in order to change your life. So I have to evaluate that with individuals to see where their mindset is and what their goals are to see if I am a good fit for them and they are a good fit for me. And then we will talk about where they should be. Like I will, if I feel like they're trying to sign up for something that may not work for them, then I will advise them, maybe not to do that yet. Start here according to what they tell me. So it's a conversation. We get to know each other, feel more comfortable, and we move forward from there.
Healthy Living 360. Where did the name come from? What's the meaning of that name?
Okay, so healthy living, it is what it means, healthy living. So I don't think I have to elaborate on that. The 360 comes from when I first started. Like I say, I was seeing things that I did like in the nursing realm, and I felt like we was missing the whole gist of getting people healthy. It was, it's kind of like it was more so sick care and not health care, according to what I went into it for. And I wanted to help people take care of their body as a whole. So that's where the 360 comes in, at healthy living all the way around. We can't just take care of this and not talk about this. Like you can't want to do anything with me and not talk about nutrition, talk about self-care, things like that, because you're going to then down the road, you're probably going to run into the issues of, well, I was losing weight or whatever. Why did I stop? So if you're missing some part of the health part, then you will run into those roadblocks. So you have to address things along the way to keep it holistic.
Okay, okay. I want to get into something about prescription pills as well. You mentioned it. I didn't go into details. I wanted to. When you take these prescription pills, if you have high blood pressure, when you take, treatment for diabetes or whatever you may be getting treated for, try your best to wean yourself off of those. Um, because those pills that you take on a daily basis, they cause long term damage. You know what I'm saying? Those pills can cause damage from hair loss, kidney problems. You can have issues that those pills can cause. So you're taking a pill for high blood pressure, but it's causing another problem. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to take another pill, then it's going to cause another problem. And then you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be like one of my ex coworkers. He was taking 17 pills a day. He would come in every day to work, show me his pills in his hand, and they would cover his whole hand and he would take them back. You know what I'm saying? Take all the pills back. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to live like that. The best thing you can do, turn your life around. Like she said, you know what you're doing wrong 9 times out of 10, because some people may not know. You know what I'm saying? You know the foods that you are eating or consuming that are no good for you. Like I mentioned on hot wings. I had no business eating no hot wings, but I enjoyed them. And I still had no business eating them though. You know what I'm saying? I see people going out to eat all the time. Try to limit yourself on going out to eat, because fast food, that's one of our downfalls. There's a fast food restaurant here in Macon, Georgia, at least. There's a fast food restaurant on almost every corner. No matter what side of town you're on, there's a fast food restaurant everywhere. And sometimes they're right next to each other. Let them things go. Let them go. What is the long term goal for Healthy Living 360?
The long-term goal for Healthy Living 360 is to help each individual that comes to Healthy Living 360 for lifestyle changes, to help them succeed in taking their life back. So if I succeed in helping one person, I don't care if it's one person a year, but of course we want to do more than that. But as long as if I can help educate them and help them take their life back, I have done my job.
Y'all hear it here. Y'all hear it here. Any extra location? Well, I know right now we're dealing with COVID and everything. Matter of fact, I ask every guest this. I'm gonna ask you this: how has COVID-19 affected your day-to-day operations?
Well, as far as myself in business, it took a toll on me, more so mental. Last
Mm.
year, after I chose to close my doors in May, it was kind of like a waiting game. Like you don't know, but you saw where you was headed with the every 2 weeks of we're going to extend and we're going to extend. People were scared, and I just made a decision at the time that I felt was best to go ahead and do this while you can right now. Go ahead and leave the contract while you can. And I'm glad I did, because I feel like I would be, you know, in some trouble. But mentally, because I had to change up my whole business plan for 2020. Like I had everything laid out how I was going to do things, and everything went out the window, and I shut down for some time. I needed to take time to myself, but a part of me still wanted to go and do this to help others. But last year was grand for me personally, on a personal journey, because I learned so much about myself. I grew to another level, and I started seeing things that had been in my face that I I didn't take time to pay attention to, because I was constantly on the go. Like we say, we're so busy. You get up going, you go to bed going, and I'm always taking care of others, and I have to take care of my mom. So it's just a lot going on. It was a lot going on. So I had to shut down and I had to revamp everything. And I already knew that I would change my logo. potentially at my 5 year mark. And I did this year, well, 2020, I changed my logo with some rebranding. I moved towards yoga and just getting back out there. And now it's different because everything is online. And I know that sounds simple to people when they hear it. Well, just go online. Well, you can't just log onto Facebook and go online with stuff. There are rules, there are laws, there's regulations that you cannot do certain stuff within things that I do, but also with like music. You can't just utilize, certain music. I can't just play a whole song. I can't do certain things. So you different platforms are being created in the back end to make sure that it's going to do what you need it to do. And it's trial and error, trial and error. So I have learned to just take your time, be patient. You're human, and you will do what you do when you do it to help, to help others. So I'm not beating myself up about anything. And I feel good about that now. Like I'm happy. And that to me, that means more than anything. Like I am genuinely happy now, like from within, I am happy. So it's been tough and it still is challenging, but it's okay. We'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll get there. And like you say, you got to know yourself. This right here is an interview to get to know you, Latrisha Jones. So if you don't mind, with me and the listeners being your ears, tell us, what does Latrisha Jones like to do for fun?
I love to dance. I love to play cards with friends. I just like to really just gather. I don't need special. I don't need anything like extravagant. I'm simple. I can just, if I can take my head out of a book or off of the computer from doing work, and you say we're going over here to do this, I'm with it. Because it's something different, and you need the laughter, and we need that for stress reduction. Like we are human beings and we need that. So just to take me away from that, I love to do things like that. I haven't been to the cabins in a long time, but when I did go, I enjoyed it. And one of the things that I absolutely love and could do every day is going to the ocean, going out by the beach and just being by the waters. I could really do that all the time. So nothing big. I'm simple when it comes to pleasing. With having fun, I just like to have fun, be around good company, people of good spirit, positive energy. That's it. I'm good.
So you say you that woman on that spades table, huh?
That's right. Let's get it.
We're gonna talk more about that. We're gonna get into that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, outside of the show. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, I ain't had a good spades game in a long time. I'm willing to play online. I'm willing to play taunt. I'm willing to play Uno. Whatever you want to do. You bring the dip. I got the chips.
And that's what's up. I love a virtual party.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Since we have it going, I do want to play a little game with you. I know you know what I'm talking about. Y'all, if y'all tuning into this, I want to start playing a game with my guest every week. If you tuned in last week with the yoga lady, I did something called Name That Pose with Trish. This is going to be something special. We got benefits and detriments. I'm going to go down the list of foods. Trish, you have all the time in the world. There's no prize at the end of this. I just want you to list the different benefits and detriments of each food group. When it comes to your mind, you can answer however you want to answer it, okay?
Okay.
All right, we're going to start with the first one. Benefits or detriments? Fruit.
Oh, I was looking for something to pop on the screen. Okay, fruits. Benefits of fruits. High in antioxidants. It's great for inflammation within the body. Um, of course, the nutrients and the minerals our body need. Fiber. Detriments. I would say a lot of people think that just because you eat fruits, especially when we're talking about weight loss, You can eat fruits as much as you want, and you should lose weight. But remember, fruits contains sugar as well. So you still have to be mindful of that. That fruits is also sugar. So you don't want to just eat fruits when you're talking about you're trying to lose weight. So that's kind of individualized to each person once you get to that point. So
All right, I had to give you that on the warm up. That was a little easy. Benefits or detriments, vegetables.
vegetables, same deal, antioxidants, fiber, high in fiber. Vegetables, especially like leafy green veggies, they're high in vitamin C, which is very important because vitamin C helps our immune system. It helps with inflammation. It's one of vitamin C and vitamin E is one of those top essentials that we need to make sure that we have a strong immune system. Leafy green vegetables, I'm going to say this about leafy green vegetables because I know that's where a lot of people go to the greenery. If you take any type of blood thinners, you want to be careful with consuming a lot of green leafy veggies because they contain vitamin K. Vitamin K works the opposite of like coumarin or Plavix. Those, let's just say coumarin mainly. Vitamin K works the opposite of that. So it's not saying that you can't eat it. It depends on where you are in your health, but also talk to your healthcare provider to see your safety ranges of how much you can eat.
Hey, she dropping that game. Hey, and we're gonna get back to the game, but Melanie, I gotta put you on blast. She talking about fruits is good for pH balance. Yes. All right. Back to the game, Trish. Benefits or detriments. Let's do sugar.
Sugar, well, if your choice of sugars, like we say, fruits are always a better choice because of the nutritional value that you can get from sugars versus um, man-made sugars because those sugars are fake. Let's just put the word out there. Fake stuff. High fructose corn syrup is one of the worst kinds of sugars that you can have because of the effects that it have on your insulin levels on your pancreas and leads you to those things like diabetes and stuff like that. So those added sugars is what you want to be mindful of and stay away from when you are looking at your nutritional label. All you have to do is flip it around, look at the ingredients right up under the carbohydrates, wherever it says sugars. If it says added sugars, and if it has something there, just know it's added sugars. It's not naturally occurring sugars. Um, Sugars, of course, is empty calories. It doesn't fulfill anything, and it packs on the pounds because of everything else that's in it that you're eating. But sugar works on the pleasure center of the brain. Okay, so you wonder why you can't the habit of I can't stop eating this or that in the sugar realm, like I can't stop drinking sodas, or I can't like I have a sweet tooth. Well, it's because think I'm going to say this, think of a drug. Let's just say crack. Let's just think of how that works with the crackhead. They may start out small, just doing this little bit, and they got pleasure from that, right? Same way with sugar. The more you do it, you don't get that same feeling. So you do a little bit more so you can get that feeling. Same way with sugar. So what happens is you keep going to now you have created a habit, and it is a mind thing. You have created the habit of I need this in order to still get that same pleasure that I used to get when I only had a little bit. And it's just a cycle. You have to break that habit and you start incorporating more high quality foods that will fulfill you and help you feel full so you don't have to keep eating those empty calories, which is only going to make you feel like, oh, I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry. I hope I didn't lose anybody on that.
I don't think you did, or at least I hope you didn't. If you did, y'all run this back. Listen to what she said, empty calories. So like if you're eating something and you just ate a full portion, a nice size of it, but you're still having that hungry feeling, or oh, I want some more, it might be best to lay back off of it because you're going to keep consuming it. Your mind is going to tell you that, okay, we're still hungry, get some more. Come that next day, you're gonna be bloated. You're gonna be bloated. So that's the detriments of sugar. That's the benefits of sugar. Let's get to the next one. Benefits or detriments. GMO.
GMO is a term that basically means genetically modified organism, genetically modified food. The word speaks for itself. It's genetically modified, meaning they modify ingredients, they modify foods, and they add these things to our diet, and foods that is not whole, and sometimes foods that are, and this is mainly for growth, sometimes for things to grow quicker and bigger, for market, to weigh more. If you all see where I'm going with this, it's all about a dollar. So the market studies us as consumers and what we like, what we want, and they're going to push it out in front of us because they know we're going to choose certain things. So if you see something that says um, low fat, that doesn't make it healthy because they printed that on the label. They know what we look for. And a lot of people do not know how to read nutrition labels. So we look at, and I was like this for a long time, y'all. I didn't get a lot of nutrition education in school. I learned a lot of things on my own when I chose business. But we see what's right there in front of us on the label, and we choose that, honestly thinking that we're doing something good for our health, and it's no better. That's just like a Diet Coke versus the real Coke. Just go ahead and drink the real thing, because a Diet Coke is no healthier than that real Coke because of the ingredients in it. So it's all a mind game, and genetically modified is exactly what it says. It's modified for the beneficial purposes of growth, production, and marketing.
Hey, she get to it. She getting to it. Last but not least, benefits or detriments. Herbs.
Herbs, well, there's a lot of benefits of herbs. There are herbs out there for everything. There is something for everything. And if you don't know, it's okay. I don't know everything. I learn something new all the time. You just ask, research, make sure you're choosing quality herbs. But there's a lot of herbs out there that will help with anxiety, inflammations, help, see how I can say this so it makes sense to the average listener. Tension within the blood vessels thing. I hope that makes sense, because a lot of things happen in our blood vessels that makes our blood pressure rise and things like that. So there's a lot of herbs out there to help calm you down, to help you be healthier, to help you mentally focus, to help your digestive system. There's a lot out there to help you with sleep. The only detriment that I could just think of right now, if you are taking prescribed medications, you do want to be careful. I know you're trying to start choosing herbs in order to back off and hopefully come off of these things to create a healthy, holistic lifestyle. But still, don't just not stop taking your medications, because that's not the right thing to do if you've been on something for a long time. You want to wean yourself off of it with the guidance of your healthcare provider. But ask your healthcare provider, because some things will interact. So you want to be careful with that. And some herbs, the timing on when you do things, there are some herbs that's meant for, it helps reduce anxiety, but there are some that also make you sleepy, and there's some that don't make you sleepy. So you want to be careful on what all it does, because you don't want to take that one in the daytime and you got to go to work, or you got to go somewhere. Your anxiety has calmed down, but you don't know why you can't stay woke. So you just want to know all of those benefits when you're trying something new, and be careful if you're already on medications. But I don't have too many bad things to say about herbs.
At the end of the day, herbs is where you need to be. Sorry about that, y'all. I had muted my mic. I want to put this on here. This is not a part of the game. My man just threw his comment on there. That's the end of benefit and detriment. But he did have a question. Easy, which you said you didn't know his name. His name is Eric. Easy is the name of his business, though. Easy Mobile Tire. He got an ETA of 10 miles, bro. Then he got to go to work. He out on the call listening to the show. Shout out to you for supporting. But he says brown rice versus white rice. And he said, I'll have to play it back tonight. Wish I could stay longer. Hopefully you can hear this part though before you go. White rice versus brown rice. Let's get it.
White rice,
Run it
white
back.
sugar.
Run it back.
Anything when we're talking about white, like whether it's white rice, white bread, white sugars, it is refined and it is stripped of the natural nutrients that you can have, and especially fiber. When you choose things like brown rice, whole grain breads, what else? Quinoa rice, wild rice, they have more benefits, and have more, and someone said black rice. Yes, black rice is in the wild rice mixture category, but you can buy black rice by itself. So those have more benefits and it provide you with more nutrients than the white rice that is stripped of nutrients. So if you can stay away from anything that's just the white family, the rice, the sugars, there's plenty alternatives out there that you can supplement those things with. You just gotta do a little research or have a little guidance.
There you have it. I hope she answered that question. We're about to get out of here. Before we get out of here, I'm gonna address the comments. Jessica, hey, there you go. Now, Jessica Mack is who got Latrisha on here. So anybody who liked this episode, you think it's informational, you think that this is a great educational segment for Mike Ryder Talks, thank Jessica Mack. She is my vegan friend. Well, she's my friend first and foremost, but she's vegan and she's going to help me on my vegan walk in life. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, she's throwing some good things out there. Hold on, run that back, Trish.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I was just shaking my head. But while my mic is unmuted, thank you, Jessica. See you soon.
Hey, Jesse, we'll see you soon. You know what I'm saying? Let me address these comments real quick in regards to the spades tournament or the spade game. Melanie talking about some. Here is her partner. You can get the smoke too, home girl. Then she said, let's whip him twigs kind of style. Well, let's twig versus Bill any day, all day. Let's go. As far as like the labels, when you got into the front of the bag versus the back of the bag, Jessica Matt says the front labels be lying. Yes, they do. Look, if you're my friend on Facebook, and I did this as a joke, I bought the lightly salted Tostito chips, and those things ain't lightly salted. Those things probably as salty as the other ones. You know what I'm saying? Then she said you still got to look at the ingredients. That's a fact. That's a fact. Say LOL, don't do that. Trish is good people. She is a beast. Listen, you know what? You just struck a nerve. You just hit that key word. I like when people do keywords. Trish is a beast. She's a beast. Let's get it, girl. Let's go. She's a beast with it. Hey, then she be having her people working. I done did this, not with the cards, because this person is doing it with cards. I've done this. It used to be this thing on my game called Xbox Fitness, and they had this thing called Mosa Fit. And that was part of the thing you would do. You would do squats and then reach down with each side. That's very creative to do it with the cards. You know what I'm saying? Pick up one card with the left, pick up one card with the right. That's very creative. She got them going in with the rope. Listen, when you say she's a beast, she's a beast. Trish is a beast. Like I said, for her to be, she said she's in her upper 30s. Yeah, I see the picture, man. She's looking good. You know what I'm saying? And she's still a young lady, but she's looking good.
Thank you.
Say it again because I muted you. My bad.
I just said thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. And listen, I'm going to apologize to you and to the guest We're just having a few technical difficulties that we're trying to work through. Is just she's getting a bad echo on her end, so I'm having to mute her when I talk, and sometimes I'm having to mute me when she talks. But look, we don't work through it. I think it done been a good show. Trish, before I let you go, before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to say to address the people?
Yes. Getting started on your journey to health is one of the greatest things that you can do, because it doesn't matter how much money you have, the things that you're doing in life. If you're not healthy, you are not happy. We all walk out of our doors with smiles on our face, especially us entrepreneurs. But when we come home and we close those doors, most of us is not really happy. I'm a person that believe in do what makes you happy from the core. Then you know at the end of your time, you have lived your life. You have lived the best. And once you have worked out here all these years, once it gets time for you to retire or choose entrepreneurship or whatever, you want that freedom without having to drag that oxygen tank, without having to check your blood sugar before every meal, without having to check your blood pressure. Nobody wants to be bogged down with not forgetting your medicine or those things like that. So take your time, know what you need, like where you want to be, what you don't like about your health, your body, your mindset. Just know your why. You have to take time to yourself. So I encourage everyone to just start taking time to yourself. Go into some meditation and just be be honest with yourself. Okay, it's not about what everyone else is doing. Be honest with yourself. Get the help that you need and stick to it. Be patient, be kind. This is not a sprint. Learn it the right way the first time. So once you leave your trainer, your coach, or whatever you're doing, then you have taken your life back and you shouldn't have to do that again. You just find you some groups or organizations that's going to keep you motivated and encouraged to move forward. And you pass that along to your family, your children, so they can model you as they come up. But I just want you to just know that it's not about how fast, because we didn't get this way overnight. So love yourself wholeheartedly. Make sure that you are living your life happy from within, and get healthy. Just get started. Take that one step, stick that toe in, and just do it. Just do it. Money come and go, so who cares? If you have to invest in your health, invest in your health. Okay? So that's from me to you.
Hey, hey man, hey, listen, that was a beautiful message. I'm gonna add to that message. If you're investing in your health, if you're wanting to invest in your health, it is a great investment. It will beat, listen to me, people who usually go out to eat every day, for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I was one of those people. Listen, I was going out to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I worked at my first roadside job, because I started working early and I worked late. I wasn't cooking at that time. So the amount of money I was spending every week, you average up a combo. A combo averages out about $10. 3 times a day, that's $30. 5 days a week, that's $150. If you take that and just go to the grocery store and just buy healthy meals and healthy snacks, you probably won't even spend 150 a week, depending on how many people you're trying to feed. I know it's just me. I live alone. Um, I don't spend that much at the grocery store every week. And I buy healthy things, mostly healthy things. Now I did buy them lightly salted chips. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna get to y'all comments. I'm gonna close this thing down. My man Easy, I guess he did stick around. He said, I'm out, you guys. Take care and thanks a million for the advice. As always, Mike 100. Be safe out there, my man. Be good. That roadside is not easy. It's not the safest job to do. Be blessed. Jessica Mack, she said, I'm trying to get on her level. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, baby. You know what I'm saying? Melanie, listen, Melanie, we're gonna have problems, but she said Latrisha Jones, RN, is a beast, the GOAT, a sister, a mentor, a teacher, but most of all, she is my spiritual connect to a peaceful relationship. Shout out to you, Melanie. We're about to get out of here, fellas. We're about to get out of here, ladies. It done been a great show. Let me do this real quick. It's your boy Mike Ryder. Mr. Accountability, the man behind the microphone. And listen, your health is very important. It is health month on Mike Ryder Talks. See, I can even get it out. It's health month on Mike Ryder Talks. All the guests that you see on the platform this month, they will be dealing with health in some kind of way. I started it with Will Butler. He was a personal trainer. I moved on to Drea Lee. She's a yoga instructor. Tonight, I got Latrisha Jones. She's an RN. She also owns Healthy Living 360. And listen, we're trying to do it. I got 2 more guests coming on. I know one of them is going to be an amazing show. The other one is still up in the air. I'm waiting on confirmation. But y'all, I got some things in the works. Don't forget, I got the raffle. Valentine's Day is coming up. It's a month and 2 days away. If I'm wrong, correct me. But anyway, it's a little over a month. I got the raffle. I got a $60 basket. Inside of that basket, you will have a bottle of wine, 2 wine glasses, 2 candles, 2 wax melts, and some chocolates to share with your loved one. If you're a man, if you're a woman, get that thing, man. Get in that raffle. $10 raffle. The way to get in, you're going to cash out me. I will be putting out pictures, videos, promo of the raffle, but tonight we're just introducing it. So I'm just giving y'all the details. $10 entry. You ain't missed nothing. You ain't missed nothing. This just started. I just introduced this tonight. Like I said, I'm still building the basket. Once I get everything put in, I can start doing some nice, do a nice photo shoot with the basket. Do a little video with the basket. I'm gonna bring it to y'all on my Facebook page, on my Instagram, on my personal and my business pages, on the shows leading up until the end of the raffle. I will be promoting it. So $10 is the entry. You can get in as many times as you want. You cash out Mike Ryder. $ Mike Ryder is the cash out. $10 entry. Get in as many times as you want. It's random drawing. I know y'all done seen people online with the little Wheel of Fortune random picking. I'm going to do that. However, the more people I get in, the more baskets I'll give away. You can get in as many times as you want. The odds are completely random and it's up to you. You want to increase your odds? Get in twice. Get in 3 times. Shoot, just put down $100. I put you down enough 10 times, baby. You might as well just say you walking away with a basket. But anyway, listen, again, Mr. Accountability, man behind the microphone. I'm finna run this video and we about to get out of here.
I swear sometimes my mind drift. Gotta be supernatural, you make it from down here. Hey, I lost the closest thing to my heart and almost drowned in tears. But granted lives, I'm still standing. I would never hide in fear. I stand bold on these 10 toes. Said I was gonna do it and I did it. Niggas talk but I'm never moved by their opinions. I make music for those that love the culture. Women that's in tune with they you. And all the go-getters that made it over. I do this for the forgotten city of Macon, Georgia. They wrote us off as old as Reading, but the wait is over.
All right, before I leave, I'm gonna hit y'all with my ending message, but I'm gonna say this. Yes, $ Mike Ryder, $ MikeRyder. If you watch the show, if you see when I bring her on the screen and the images on the screen, it should be like at the bottom on this side of the screen. I'm also gonna bring it up. Like I said, when I bring the basket, I'm gonna bring that up. But yes, Jessica, $ Mike Ryder, $10 entry. Get in as many times as you want. Y'all know how it goes. Before we get out of here, I thank y'all for tuning in. And until we meet again, you see what it says on the ticker. Be blessed out there, everyone. All right.